Hi everyone, welcome back to StilyoApps. I am Ruth, and in today's video we are talking about how to upsell post-purchase when you're selling high-ticket items in your store. So when you sell high-ticket items, it is very difficult to get someone to actually purchase. And you know that the more expensive your product is, the more difficult it is to get someone to buy it, the higher your cost per acquisition is. And that makes sense. As long as your ROI is positive, you're good. You're making money, you have profits. However, if you've worked so hard to get someone to buy for the first time from your store, why not use this force of inertia? Is that how you say it? I think so. Why not use that to actually get him to buy again immediately? And this is what post-purchase upselling is here for. So I am going to show you how to use ReConvert to upsell customers in your thank you page post-purchase to buy again after they bought their first high-ticket item. The secret here is that you're not upselling the high-ticket item itself. You're upselling either a complementary lower budget item, or you're upselling a subscription, anything that doesn't cost as much as the original product does, but can generate you some more revenue on top of the original order. So we are going to jump in now, but before we do not forget to subscribe, hit the like button and the bell notifications. You already know the drill, don't you? So go ahead and do that, and then let's jump into the app. Okay, so we are on the Shopify thank you page, and as you can see, we haven't activated ReConvert quite yet. You can see the blank Shopify thank you page, no upsells, no nothing. I just wanted us to have a look at the order before we move on. So the item that I ordered is a high ticket item at $229.99, and what I want to do as the store owner is actually upsell my customers in here on the thank you page something that they might add to the existing order. So before we jump into ReConvert and start applying this, let's talk a little bit about how are we going to upsell on the thank you page. What's the strategy for a high ticket item store? Usually I would just say enable the conversion monster in ReConvert, and it will do a really good job of creating dynamic recommendations based on the product purchased and Shopify recommendations, and give your customers recommendations that are relevant to whatever they like and purchased before. However, since in this case we have a high ticket item, one of the things that could happen with Conversion Monster is that the products that the customer will see are going to be the same products that he already purchased. And this is an issue because with high ticket items, customers are just not as likely to buy again the same item. This is an over $200 item. Customers are not going to want to buy this again immediately. It will become a very expensive order of almost $500. That makes sense. So what we want to do is upsell complementary products that are related to this item but are much cheaper. Let's hop in and actually get this done. So going into ReConvert, my app is currently disabled, which is why we're not seeing anything. I do have a Conversion Monster template already applied in here and ready to be enabled. But before we enable it, we're going to customize it a little bit to fit the high ticket item. So we're going to walk off of two cases. The first one we're going to talk about is a store that has basically a single product store, or maybe it's not a single product, but it has a few products that are kind of similar to each other, all high ticket with complementary products around them. This is a store where all of the products are pretty much related. There's a very clear niche and category. The second scenario would be a store with a bunch of different options. Maybe you have some high ticket items in a specific collection and some completely different niche items in another collection. I'm going to show you how to solve both problems. So let's start by working on the first case. First of all, I'm going to enable ReConvert, and let's go into the page builder. So as you can see in the thank you page, we have a few different widgets, but we have two main upsell widgets on the page, plus we have the pop-up with timer enabled. Now, as far as the pop-up with timer, its default is to give a general discount in the entire store. If you want to, you could go ahead and direct it to a specific collection related to this item, maybe a complementary items collection, but we're not gonna do that right now. I'm gonna leave it as is. What we are going to customize are the product recommendations and the product upsell widget. Let's start with the product upsell. So by default, the product that will be displayed in the product upsell widget is the same product purchased, the most expensive product purchased actually. Now let's jump back to our thank you page for a second. That means that in here in the product upsell widget, we will see this exact item. In fact, let's refresh and see it for our own eyes. Okay, so as you can see, I have another one of these products in here. Now I do have a really nice discount of 30%, but the product price is still pretty high. This is not an easy accept for any customer. So what we want to do is actually upsell something a little cheaper in here. So how are we going to solve this? What I'm going to do is change the product selected. Now you can go ahead and choose a dynamic recommendations of your choice, but I'm not going to do that because I don't know if this is still going to offer the same high ticket item product. What I'm going to do is actually select a specific product. Now keep in mind, in this case, we are assuming that all of our high ticket item products are kind of related to each other, so no matter what people bought, this upsell will be relevant. And I'm going to select something since our item is an air bonsai. This is related to planting, to plants. I'm going to choose something that is also related to plants. So a complementary item would be something like a sheave, or let's actually look for something. Okay, so we have a plant pruning kit. So this one is a really good idea. This plant pruning kit is only $14, $13.99 to be exact. And we are going to offer this exact item with a discount. Now compared to something that cost $230, this $13.99 is going to be a no-brainer for our customers. Okay, I'm going to save this. And before we go ahead and look at this in the thank you page, I'm going to also change the product recommendations. In here we have the same issue. If we have a collection of air bonsai, then people are going to be recommended a few different air bonsai products in here, but they're all going to be very expensive. So instead of that, I'm going to change the products into a specific collection, and I will choose a collection related. So I do have some bonsai accessories or plants pots for just cheaper pots than the air bonsai one. I'm going to choose the bonsai accessories. And now I have a few different recommendations here for me to choose from that are related to what I already bought, but are all way cheaper. I'm going to save this. And now let's just go ahead and refresh the page. Okay, so we have our pop-up, and when we close it, we have our recommendations and product upsell. This is a thank you page that a customer is much more likely to accept an offer from because you're upselling something cheaper. He already said yes to something very expensive. Trying to get him to say yes to another very expensive thing is going to be relatively difficult. So we want to give him an easier decision to make. Just, hey, maybe you'd also like some tools to help you grow your air bonsai. But this is a very static recommendations page. What if we have a few different niches on our store? In this demo store, for example, we have products in the DIY niche as well as in the air bonsai and planting niche. If someone bought a DIY item, we don't want them to see all of this. We don't want him to see a bonsai kit. This is not interesting to someone who just purchased something related to DIY. So we are going to use triggers to fix this issue. Going back into ReConvert, I'm going to change the name of this template into air bonsai. And let's go back to the dashboard. Now I'm going to create another template of just a general template that all customers will see if they didn't buy an air bonsai. So I'm going to click explore free templates, conversion monster, edit. If you want some videos talking about what conversion monster has, we do have them on our channel, but I'm not going to focus on this right now. All you need to know is that this template has a bunch of let's give it a name. It has a bunch of different recommendations that are completely dynamic. No matter what the customer bought, the recommendations here will be related to what he purchased. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard. And now that I have the new template, all I have to do is actually make it the default. So I'm going to click Actions, Make Default. You can see that it's the default in here. Now let's look at the thank you page if I refresh it on this Air Bonsai purchase. Okay, so now as you can see, the thank you page looks a little different. We still have the product recommendations widget here, but it is related to the collections of this product, and since this store doesn't have the collection set up correctly, I'm not saying anything. In your store, if you set up all of your collections, Shopify will know what to show in here. But when I scroll down here, I can see my Air Bonsai, so the upsell is for the same exact product that I just purchased, which we don't want to happen in the high ticket item. We only want this to happen in other items. So I'm gonna go back into ReConvert. And now the last thing I need to do is actually connect the Air Bonsai template to anyone who purchased an Air Bonsai. And I'm gonna do that by clicking triggers. Now triggers allow you to basically show different thank you pages according to different rules. And the rule we're gonna create now is dependent on the product that the customer purchased. So the default template is the one that we just created. And I'm gonna create my very first trigger. I'm gonna give it the name Air Bonsai. And the attached template, this is the template people will see if they reach this trigger, is the Air Bonsai template. Lastly, I need to set up the rules. So we have a category, and in our case, it's going to be the product purchase data. And then we have the parameter, and the parameter is specific product or specific collection. If you have an Air Bonsai collection, which unfortunately I don't, so I'm just gonna go on with this specific product. And then you can choose if you want the entire order to be the specific product, the Air Bonsai, or at least one of the products. So in my case, I'm gonna say if he bought even one Air Bonsai, I want him to see the Air Bonsai template on the thank you page. And the condition is either is or is not. In our case, it's is. And here I just need to choose my product. So I'm gonna click Air Bonsai. I'm not sure if we have a few more Air Bonsais. Yeah, we actually do. So this is an issue in your store. You would ideally just have the Air Bonsais as a collection, and then it would make it much easier. Let me just see the exact name here so we can just have the option to see this live on our thank you page. But if this was a real store, I would have either gone through manually the entire collection of Air Bonsais or created a collection for it. Now I'm gonna click save. And lastly, do not forget this, you need to click activate for triggers to be enabled. You can see that they are enabled both in here in the triggers page, and also if you go to the templates page, you will see the default one, and you will see that Air Bonsai is live because it is connected to the trigger Air Bonsai. I know it's the same name, it can be a little confusing, but it helps me understand what is connected to what. Now let's go one last time into the thank you page. I'm going to refresh this and we're going to see the Air Bonsai template that we know and love. Here we go. Now we can see whenever someone buys an Air Bonsai product, which is our high ticket item in our store, is going to see upsells of related products for a lesser price. If they buy something else, then they are going to see a general recommendations template that fits whatever product collection. So you can really customize it as much as you want. If you have a few different high ticket items, customize the thank you page by creating a template for each high ticket item. However you want this to work, you can make it work. Lastly, I don't know if you know that yet, but in ReConvert we released pretty recently an order editing option, which basically allows you to add the upsold item into the cart. Instead of creating a new order, it's going to add it to the existing order. So if you haven't enabled that, definitely go ahead and enable it. We're gonna link in the cards here the video that explains how you can do that, because this is a best practice in general for any upsell. This is it. We have created a post-purchase upsell for our high-ticket item store. Of course, the scenario would be changed according to your store, your customers, your products, your needs, etc. But I hope this gives you an idea of how you can achieve that in your own business and in your own store. If you have any questions, hit them in the comments below. We answer to each one of them. And this is it. Have a great day. I will see you in the next video.